everybody, it's me, Mega Anime Freak F3, and today I'm going to review the animated film King of Thorns. Do not call it King of Thrones. I've been trying to say that, but I had to cut it out. So this is like my fourth or third time trying not to call it that. Anyways, on to the review. Is it to say, the reason I've been putting this off for a while? I'm not going to announce it yet, but you guys will know why soon enough. But anyways, if you are looking for a good thrill, I would actually highly recommend this. Either the film or the manga, which actually, by the way, is only 6 volumes, and it's actually a good read. And it's actually one of those thrillers which is really good to come by, especially nowadays when you cannot even find a good thriller. It's one of those really hard hidden gems that when find you need to hold on to it. Anyway, the English dub is actually quite good. Each character actually have their own kind of a certain part of the world, so they have their own accent. So the English dub is actually quite solid. But yeah, the background animation is actually really good. I kind of wish I can say with the rest of the animation, but I would get to that later. But the story. The story is basically about this disease called Medusa, and it does what it does. It turns people to stone, and it does center on this group of people that are chosen to go under basically until they found a cure for the disease, called Medusa. But let's just say things go not according to plan, and I'm not going to go too much in depth for the story, but things don't turn out as well. Anyways, about the story, I actually did enjoy it. It does get a bit confusing, especially near the end, but overall I did enjoy it. Like I said, I did get confused near the end, but when I did understand it, I actually did appreciate it even more. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The animation. Okay, I feel like the animation was trying to do too much at once. What I meant about that is that it's, first of all, it was doing, the 2D animation, so that was, the norm, it was good, it was smooth, but unfortunately, when some of the action, it moved to 3D, and because of that combination, it felt really choppy, and it kind of interfered with the flow of the movie, and it took me really out of the experience. It really irritated me, which is kind of why it took me a while to write this, at least in a way. It also took me a while to rewatch this one too many times, at least appreciating it, because it did really stick out really much. But yes, if they just stuck with either 2D animation or 3D animation, I wouldn't mind that much, but they kept on switching between the two. I swear, they have like half a project here and half of the rest there, and just, decided just to move it to that, and I felt like it could have been better if they just stuck with one like either 2D or 3D and left it with that, then just switching between the two. But like it just felt really like choppy because they had both at the same time. I swear if they wanted to do both, they could have worked on it, but because they the final product, it felt really bad, really. Okay, to our final part, the characters. Now, I'm just going to do the secondary characters. The secondary characters, they actually were really well done. Everyone, they're basically their own characters. They are easily tell apart, I didn't get them confused because, they were because 2 characters were the same. And, and they were badly written. All characters were actually really well written. And obviously, they were different from the manga adaptation, but even then they were still really well presented. And even then they had to cut a few things off, which I was really disappointed because I really wish they kept some things in to explain a few things, at least with the secondary characters. The main characters I did like, which I'm not going to get too much into, but they were still solid as steel. And well, but yeah, they did, the ending was, they kind of left it, not to spoil anything, but they kind of left it on a cliffhanger, which, I kind of hated when they kind of do that. And well, it just, I really hate when it happens when you're, reading or watching a movie and they leave it on cliffhanger, and when you kind of hate it, because you kind of want to know what happens next, and especially when they wrap it up nice and neat. But in this case, I am talking about both the manga and the movie ending. They both actually end pretty differently, and I do like both endings, and I actually thought they ended quite good. And that is actually all, and I would actually recommend, if you have some time, I actually would recommend both the film and the manga. And if you ask me, I actually would recommend watching the film before reading the manga. Anyways, I've been making Anime Freak X3, and I will see you guys in the next video.